Hey there everyone, welcome back to the channel. As you may or may not be aware if you've been a long time follower, I used to post videos about, well, vlogs, what I was up to with my knitting, my crafting, a few how-to videos, stuff like that. And a little while ago I stopped posting. I also stopped writing my blog, which went with the channel. And two things. One, I want to explain why. And two, I plan on changing all that. So I thought I'd do this little video and let you know what the plans are, what's happening, all that sort of stuff. Hang on, I've got a cup of tea. Can't do this without a cup of tea. It's a lovely day here in the northeast of England, and oh, I can't tell you how happy I am that spring is here. Although I suppose we're heading into summer now. So I thought I'd come out into the garden, I'd sit by my favourite tree, and I'm actually accompanied by Salem the cat down there. So if you hear any funny noises, it's probably him. Yes, you, Stinky. So why did the channel go quiet? That's a difficult one to answer, but I'm going to be brutally honest. And what I'm going to say is, I didn't know why people would watch it, and also I was starting to feel a bit under duress, pressure, by the channel, and not in a good way. And let me explain those. There are so many fantastic channels about knitting, crochet, spinning, crafting, all sorts. You name it, YouTube's got it. And there are so many fantastic YouTubers out there. And it got to the point where I thought, well, why would anyone watch my channel? Because, well, really, apart from me saying, oh, look, I knitted another pair of socks, what have I actually got to say? And I couldn't actually come up with a really good answer to that. And this happened at a time when I had stuff going on in my personal life which needed dealing with, and that limited my amount of time that I could dedicate to, well, anything, you know, YouTube, knitting, housework, work, anything. All became very, very limited. And what I was finding, cat and dog interaction going on over there, what I was finding was that what precious little time I had to do my crafting, I was starting to feel pressured into doing projects specifically to show on the channel, or specifically to take photos of them and put them up on Instagram. And that was just taking all the fun out of it. You know, how many pairs of plain vanilla socks in different colours do you want me to show you, basically? Because, you know, the majority of stuff that I knit is plain vanilla socks. Different colourways, fair enough, but you know, it's plain vanilla socks. So I felt the channel needed a focus, and I didn't have that focus, so I decided to just let things go for a while, not close it down or anything like that, you know, no big dramatic I can't do this anymore speech or anything like that you do get on some channels, you know, and then they're back the next week. Just leave things for a while and deal with the stuff I needed to deal with, and then work out what I was going to do. So that leads me on to reviving, rejuvenating, relaunching, starting the channel again, however you want to put it. And that's kind of come about because of the situation in Great Britain at the moment. Now, for months, years, we have had non-stop Brexit this, Brexit that, Brexit at other end. Do you know what? I don't want to lose friends over Brexit or anything like that. I think the whole thing's been a sham. Westminster needs to get its act together, etc. But basically, I'm fed up of it. So then the politicians went on their Easter break, and something happened in London, which, I mean, it certainly made plenty of the media around Britain, and I assume it's made it around the world as well. And that was the Extinction Rebellion takeover of Oxford Circus, you know, the protests, the climate change protests. Now, I started banging on about climate change and living more sustainably and all that sort of stuff when I was a teenager. I remember learning about it at school, being absolutely horrified, going away, you know, as a teenager, doing more research on my own and thinking, we need to do something about this. And I was mocked, I was pilloried, I was told I was an embarrassment to my family for it, all that sort of thing. And over time, that kind of ground me down. And while I always continued trying to do my bit, I kind of gave up hope. I kind of came to the conclusion that we were running towards this massive catastrophe, and pretty much the human race didn't care. It was very much a case of, well, I'm alright, so anyway, the Extinction Rebellion protests started in London, and it gave me hope. I mean, I always knew there was other people who felt like me, but I always felt we were this tiny minority. And suddenly, hang on, we're not. We're hitting the mainstream media. You know, this is headline news. All the newspapers, all the news channels, News at 10's leading with the story. And I thought, I can be doing more. You can always be doing more, but I can be doing a little bit more. So would you believe it? I'm chatting away, full flow, you know, and the battery went flat. So, get my tea back. So yeah, I thought, that's what I want to do. I want to do more in my own life, and I'm going to do that with the channel and the blog. So this is, I suppose, for want of a better way of going to be saying it, it's going to be crafting, but with emphasis on my attempts to be a bit more eco-friendly, recycling, sustainable living, that sort of stuff. Now, knowing what I'm like, the trials and tribulations are probably going to involve a lot of disasters because I'm very good at getting things wrong, but I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to lend my voice to all the others that are saying we have to change. And what better way to do it than to take you guys along on the journey with me. Now, I'm not saying that, I want to be really clear, I am not saying that anyone has to immediately give up all plastics, they have to immediately get rid of their car or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all, because it's not viable, really. What is viable is for people to start making changes. Now, around the time when I was a teenager, that I mentioned before, when I heard about all this, not long after that, I got my first job, and I worked as a Saturday girl in a shop. And it was a little shop, and we did everything. I mean, seriously, this shop was Well, when I say it was the size of someone's living room, it actually used to be someone's living room. And it had been converted. We sold everything. We sold housewares, we sold clothes, we sold beauty products, you know, you name it, we sold it. And part of my job was stacking the shelves, which I did every Saturday. And it was a little bit boring, to be honest. The stacking the shelves bit. I quite like talking to the customers and all that sort of stuff and everything, but just literally carrying stuff out and stacking the shelves I found a little bit boring. But that was around the time that the CFC in aerosols first came to public attention. And to start with, you had all these big companies on the news and stuff like this, and you know, ozone layer, all that sort of stuff. And they were saying, oh no, we can't remove the CFCs, it's not possible, you know, the processes and the costs and da-da-da and all this, that and stuff. But people weren't happy. And then a couple of companies, one company, I'm not sure who it was, brought out, it was a pump action hairspray that had no CFCs in it. And they branded it as CFC free. And it was more expensive than the other ones. And the place where I was working, it was in a mining colliery, and people didn't have a lot of money. But you know what? People started spending those extra few pence to get the CFC free one. And really, really strangely, those people who, you know, oh, we couldn't possibly do it, you know, it's blah, 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 all this, that, not economically viable. Within months, they were bringing out their own version of CFC hairspray because they saw that that's what customers wanted. So even if I can't change the world, I can lend my voice to all the other people who want to make all those little changes. And you know what? I'd put a lot of money down that if you start doing that, those big corporations, those big companies, those big corporations, the ones who really can stop this and who really can change the world, they're going to start taking notice and they're going to start doing something. Because at the end of the day, all they're interested in is their bottom line. And if as customers, we make sure they know that we want their bottom line to be more sustainable, more green, lower carbon footprint, etc., that is what they will do to keep getting our money, because that's what they're interested in. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't want to make this a eco warrior channel or anything like that. This is going to stay about crafting and everyday living and stuff like that, but there's going to be that slant to it. There's still going to be the odd video, oh look, I made a pair of socks. So don't worry, you're going to still see my socks and shawls and stuff that I make. But I'm going to, oh hello, it's Pebbles the dog, hello. So the plan is I'm going to look at getting a video out a week and a blog post to match the video that week. So the blog is www.maraknits.co.uk. I'm going to stick with the Mara Knits name. Maybe as this all happens and evolves, it'll stop being quite so relevant and we might change it then, but to start with, let's just keep with what we've got. And there will also be some sort of general living vlogs, that sort of thing. So I hope you'll either join me on the journey or stay with me on the journey, and we'll take it one day at a time, one tiny step at a time, and see where we end up. So take care. See you next time. Bye.